everybody. Welcome into another edition of the North Jackson Press Mountain Valley News 2019 football preview. Today, the section lines are in the studio. Head coach Chris Hammond, new head coach, I should say, joining us today to take a look at the upcoming season with the section lines. Coach, you and I have known each other for a number of years now, and first of all, congratulations on the head coaching job, and we're going to talk some about that. Like I said, we've had Miles Keith from Ider in the other day. He's a new head coach, so we don't look as much at last season because that's, prehistory as far as you're concerned, but want to talk to you, just kind of a get to know you, so, the people from section who are not familiar with you, if there are any people over there, can kind of find out a little bit. First of all, just tell us a little bit about you. Your where you're from, married, kids, coaching stops, who you've worked for, who your influences are.
Sure. I started in 2000 at Valley Head. That's where I'm from and hometown, and I was there for 16 years. And I actually coached. I started out football and with Coach Scott Tate, and that was a great way to start out my coaching career. He was really easy to work for. Kind of got spoiled early. He gave me the defensive coordinator job and really never questioned me and supported me, and it was a great year. After that, he had moved, and my brother got the job, so. That was good to work with him and learn under him, and coached some baseball there. But anyway, I was there for about 16 years and coached several years there, and I actually got out of coaching for a couple of years to spend time with my family. And I'm living in Scottsboro at the time, so the drive was kind of tough. But, kind of always wanted to get back into coaching. And the opportunity come up in 2016 to get back in it, and I got offered the job at Scottsboro. So that was, I needed it. I was looking for something to kind of get my passion back up and rekindle it was kind of in a rut. So God blessed me with the opportunity to come there. So and then when I was at Scottsboro, I was with Coach Patrick Nix, which is, I've been fortunate to coach with some of the best coaches around. I had Patrick Nix, Coach Don Jacobs, and my brother Charles Hammond. But I have 2 boys, and my oldest boy will be coming with me to play, and he's excited for that. But we live there in Scottsboro, and like I said, the opportunity to come to section was open, and I felt led to go there. It's time, and was excited for the opportunity.
Well, that's great, Coach, and that as far as the football side of things, now I'm going to bail you out here. You tell us about your kids, but you didn't tell us about their mama.
Oh yeah, that's my wife Avery. She's a big supporter, and anytime you coach, you got to have support from there. That's a key thing, and she,
it takes a special woman to be a football coach. Any kind of coach's wife.
Absolutely, that's and it's tough. It's tough on her because I'm gone a lot and working a lot, and to be successful, you got to put in the time and the hours. So she's really been supportive of it, and she didn't want me leaving Scottsboro. She's a Scottsboro girl, and that part was tough. But she knows that's what I want to do and what I'm passionate about, and so she's.
Coaches always want that next level challenge,
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Well, now let's move to the football side of things. Get to know you as a football coach.
Okay.
We always talk about how coaches approach the game from their own, standpoint. Talk about your offensive philosophy and your defensive philosophy of the game.
Okay.
What can the folks of section expect to see offensively?
Well, You know, obviously we want to score points.
Right.
And what gives us the best chance to do that and be successful. If I had it my way, I would probably run the football for 4 yards in 40 seconds and do it again. You know, I like.
Well, we talked about yesterday. I'm trying to remember which. I've taped so many of these shows now, but I said I've been asking the question the wrong way. I've been asking coaches, "What's your philosophy of the game?" But in the high school game, you can't always run your philosophy. You
can't. No.
You have to deal with what play the cards you're given, as
Absolutely.
we say, and of course we'll get into that in a minute. As far as I'm sure you've met with your team, kind of taking stock of what you got. But what would you do if you could do, and how much of that you think you'll be able to implement at section?
Probably be a pretty balanced team. You know. I think if you're a run-oriented team, that gives the defensive an advantage, you know, if you're not able to throw the football. So I'd like to be balanced and really offensively it'd be similar to what Coach Nick's done there, you know, kind of spreading it out. It's still power football and running the football, but
Run
still give
first.
you some, you still got some RPOs and some passing there to open some things up. But again, personnel is, you know, you got to work with what you're dealt and whatever gives you the best chance. It's all football. It comes down to blocking and tackling, you know. So I think will probably be some multiple sets. I'm a defensive-minded coach.
Right.
So on offense, I try to do things that I seen that gives us problems defensively. You know, and multiple sets you have to take time to prepare for. Motions and just trying to get numbers and anything that gives you an advantage there. So, you know, that's some of the things we hope to do. But, you know, you got to avoid negative plays and with emotions and stuff, your timing and, you know, I hope we're able to do that. But, you know, if we start having some false starts and stuff like that, you know, we're going to just be a more of a base stuff.
Right. Well, I ask all these returning coaches, you know, about graduation losses. That's really not a concern to you because it's not a loss to you. You don't know what you lost, but But you've met with your team, and you know you've kind of taken stock of your personnel. You know what you've got. Now, I'm trying to remember now. Like I said, I've interviewed so many coaches now. You were not there in the spring, or were you able to participate in spring?
I was there for about 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
So, yeah, as far as the spring went, you know, we got some good information on just evaluating players and what you have, and it was pretty tough go. You know, our numbers are down, which is always a problem. In small schools, you run into that problem. But again, you know, we didn't have a lot of time to come in there and really implement an offense and a defense and rep it and that type of stuff. So on that end, we didn't, you know, that was tough and it went as expected. But again, we got to break down film and see kids that, you know, that want to play and how they play and where they fit. We had some guys out of position and you know, again, we couldn't evaluate the players and where they go because you didn't have the time. But
so spring was more an evaluation period to kind of take stock. Yes. Practice starts the 5th, I believe. So got a short period of time to install the Hammond offense and the Hammond defense.
Absolutely.
How do you try to, because you know kids at that age too, particularly, or I say that age, I hear college coaches talk about this. You can only put so much on them at one time. So I would assume you're going to try to take as simplistic approach as you can, you know, just to kind of get their feet wet. And how do you approach that with such a short time period?
Yeah, simple's better. You know, I've seen coaches that has a million plays and they're all good, but if you can't execute, it's no good and it doesn't work.
Exactly.
So, you know, we're going to start with our base plays, just the ISO, the lead, the power, the counter, and get really good at it. You know, if we can come at multiple formations to try to confuse a little bit, but still run the same plays. And we're just going to rep that and get really good at it, and just try to be fundamental sound and teach fundamental steps and hand placements, hat placements, and you know.
Well, at the end of the day, you know, just about every coach I ever had said it doesn't matter if you execute. You can walk up to the line and tell them what you're about to run.
Absolutely.
You run the same play every time. If you execute it, if you knock the man in front of you out of the way, do what you're supposed to do. You know, that's
yes.
That's how you be successful. Well, let's talk a little bit about, you know, we talked a minute ago, you know, your first head coaching job and your first region games, the Fife Red Devils. So
yeah,
that's jumping out of the frying pan into the fire, as they say. How do you try to prepare a team to you know, you're especially as a new coach, you know, what do you say to a group of kids when you're getting ready to play Fife? Of course, you got them at home; they're coming into section.
right. You know, to be good, you want to play good competition.
Right.
And you know, you want to play the best to be the best, and you know, we'll approach it, I think, like any other game. We're going to be do what we do. You know, we want to compete. It doesn't matter who our opponent is.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be prepared. You know, we want to be, and if we do the things kind of like you said about a play, you know, it's like defensively, if we do our responsibility and be unselfish and fit where we're supposed to fit and do things, well, we got a chance.
Right.
You know, I know that. You know, Fife is they're very, very good, and it'd be an early challenge for us. But again, we're just going to approach it, you know, like week to week.
Let me pick your coach's brain. You know, if you had, assuming you had the greatest personnel, I mean, you had some hosses, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
How would you game plan for a team like Fife? I mean, what is it that Benefield does that you think gives people the most fits?
Well, you know, they don't do anything special. What they do is
they just execute it.
They get really, really strong.
Right.
And they know what their job is and they execute. You know,
yeah.
They you know, they take pride in that, and that's the key.
That's when I was interviewing Coach Benefield, I told him one of the biggest things that's always impressed me about his football teams is their discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah.
They don't make mistakes. They don't make penalties. They
right.
You know, just hard nose and do their job.
Okay. After that, you got Ider. This will be your first. Well, not your first road game, but your first road region game.
Mm-hmm.
After Fife travel up to Ider.
Right.
I know, Coach, you've probably watched Coach Keith's interview already. He's a downhill guy. That's what he's selling, hard-nosed football.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you don't have game film. I know I've talked about some of these other first-year coaches you're playing a first-year coach. You don't have that game film on them yet. Of course, that's 2 games in, so you'll have a little bit to look at and kind of see what to prepare for. But you know the culture that Coach Tinker left up there. Those
Absolutely.
kids, they play hard-nosed football.
They play hard.
And, you know, that's been a hallmark of Ider even since I played. You know, you always knew when you played Ider you were going to get hit in the mouth.
It's going to be a physical ball game.
Exactly.
They play to win.
Then you got Cedar Bluff. I don't really know anything about Cedar Bluff this year. I know they had a good football team last year. Of course, they had a kid get hurt, and I'm not sure if that kid is coming back this year or if he was a senior. Trying to think of that kid's name, but anyway, I know they had a really good football team this year. Do you know anything about them?
I don't. You know, I know they typically a very good football team. You know,
right.
have a lot of speed, and it'd be a tough ball game. Like I said, for us, if we take care of us and
mm-hmm.
do what we're supposed to do, then sure we'll watch game film and try to scheme for them and see find weaknesses and stuff. But our biggest concern is doing what we need to do
to
be successful.
Then you're out of the region next week. Travel to Pisgah, the next door neighbor. I'm sure there's a lot of rivalry and
probably
pride
a good
involved
rivalry
in
game,
that.
yeah.
Coach Pruitt going into his second year there, and gosh, they were very competitive last year. The game, well, of course, the only game I got to see them play was Plainview, and that was a war. So, and of course, you got to travel up to Pisgah as well, but that's non-region. Then Collinsville. Talk about that quarterback.
He's good. Yeah,
Caleb Jones. He's a good athlete.
He is.
Just in general, but my goodness. And I've heard that Collinsville has probably got one of the bigger fronts around here now. So
I watched them in the spring game. They played down there at Valley Head too, and yeah, the quarterback stands out. He's very athletic, throws the ball well, and of course Coach Willingham's a fantastic coach and guy. And I talked with him a little bit down at the
we're
summer
still
conference.
trying to get him in here.
I
don't know if we've got a date set up on him yet, but we're going to get him. Okay, Sandrock. And that's at Sandrock. I don't have to say much about Sandrock. They're another hard-nosed football team.
Lot like Outer.
That is a very hostile place to play when you go in there.
Yeah, it's a tough region. It's there's not a break in it. It's going to be a challenge, and like I said, that's okay. A challenge is good.
And then you got Asbury. They close out the region with Asbury coming to section, and of course that's a new program. They've struggled, but that's what new football programs do.
It is.
And but you really don't know.
Still got to play the game.
This could be the first year they start getting things going. You never
very
know.
possible.
And two, you've got them late in the season, so
I think.
And it probably, I would argue, possibly, if not, well, other than Fife, second most difficult game on your schedule, non-region game at North Sand Mountain.
Yeah.
Kirby's guys are always ready to play, and another tremendous quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they come down last year at Scottsboro, and we played 11-on-11, and they're fast. Quarterback's really good, and again they're well coached. So that's going to be it'd be a good ball game.
Last game on the schedule at section, you got Woodville. I'm not real familiar with Woodville's. I know their coach. Haven't seen them play. What do you know about them? Talk about their. How long has Powell been at Woodville?
I'm not sure.
I know he's an old Fife boy.
I know that they have done really well the last couple of seasons there. They've got a tailback that's really good and fast, and heard a little bit about their spring game. I think they performed really well in it. So yeah, I think and especially in their region, they've got a chance to do really well.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, that's a tough region you're in, Coach.
It is.
But that's what they say. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
And iron sharpens iron. Let's talk a little bit more. Like I said, I've joked with several of these coaches. I think it was Miles Keith. Keep calling him Keith. Miles Keith came in the other day for tape his show, and he talked about how he always wanted to be a head coach, and he always looked up and admired the head coach because his phone was always going off. He was constantly getting text, and he's like, man, I want to be the head coach someday. I want to be important. And he said, now I wish I could throw my phone in the river. But how has that changed? What's been the biggest challenge so far, taking on that role? And I know you've not even fielded a team yet or coached a game, but just the responsibility of going from assistant to you manage the whole program. What's been the biggest challenge for you so far?
I guess
stuff like this right here.
Stuff like this, yes, sir. just you know, as assistant coach, you're really coaching football, and you're concerned with your group, or you know, or your side of the ball, and you're just coaching.
Not having to make schedules.
Yeah, there's so much off the field stuff, you know, that you have to do, and so you can't prepare for things because things hit you, and you know, you want unexpected things, and just making sure.
AHSAA is constantly needing a form or a schedule.
It is. And again, there's no way to prepare for it other than experience. And you know, I'm very fortunate in that area. As you know, my brother's been a coach for many years now, so
you know the drill.
I've got a good reference. You know, he's really been great to me. You know, if I have a problem or question, well, I can call him up and say, hey, you know, what do you do with this, or for whatever reason, and you know, he's one that I really look up to and trust, and he's a successful coach, and I think, you know, his management and the way he handles things is top notch. So that's a good reference for me that I use for a lot of different things, you know, just to help me through the initial phase, I guess.
And it's good to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, what about this?
Yeah, absolutely. or you know, you got a bad day, something happens, you got to, you know, we teach our kids about adversity and things, and just being resilient and stuff like that, where, you know, as a coach, you've got that too. You've got a lot of adversity there that hits you. So, you know, if you have a bad day or something, I can give him a call, and he makes me feel better. You know, he says, hey, you know, we've been there, we you know, just hang in there. This is how you handle it. So, but it's good. It's been really fun. I'm excited. Got a tremendous group of you know, our core guys. They've really bought in. They're working hard, and man, I'm loving it. I am. I'm excited to wake up every day and get out there and take it on. And you know, I'm just very passionate about it and thankful for the opportunity. So.
Well, all right. Well, Coach, listen, we thank you for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Coach Chris Hammonds of the Section Lions, new head coach, and that's going to do it for this edition of the Mountain Valley News North Jackson Press 2019 football preview show. Again, stay tuned. We've still got some other coaches coming your way, and we'll be bringing those to you as well.
Building your dream home is one of the great joys in life. At First Southern State Bank, we know construction and mortgage financing, putting today's low rates to work for you. As you and your family move closer to the completion of your new home, we know that your home is where memories are made and families grow stronger year after year. At First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, Scott Kirk stands ready to tailor the right construction loans to meet your needs, along with our staff of experienced loan professionals. Drop by to share your dreams with us today in Rainsville. First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, all the bank you'll ever need.
Folks, this is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City in Fort Payne, Alabama. I want to invite everybody to come out to our new location. We're at 1411 Glen Boulevard, right where you turn to go on Airport Road. We've got plenty of inventory for you to choose from. I got cars, trucks, vans, sport utility vehicles of any make and model. Come down here and visit us. Let us see what we can do for you. If you got some slow credit, I've got some banks that'll take care of that. We've got great financing, got a great selection of cars. Y'all come down here and see us.
Don't take the first deal that comes along when you can do better at BobbyLedbetter.com and Twin City Used Car Sales, located at 1411 Glen Boulevard in South Fort Payne.